back to the class, everyone. Today, I am very pleased to announce that after 4 long years, we are finally getting an easy and, quite frankly, very free-to-play friendly solution to the GET1 problem. So this is what I'm referring to. As of earlier today, we got this post that came out, and it kind of bugs me when they do this. Every once in a while, they'll give us like a really good economy change and not even really mention it all. Like, I won't get on the tangent, but we had a mod change not too long ago. Absolutely wonderful, like doubled almost our mod income. But anyways, not about that. What do we have going on here? They just kind of like briefly mention here, characters were made purchasable for MK2 raid tokens in the guild activity shipment. So you see that and you're like, okay, whatever, don't care. And quite frankly, for myself and my account, it's not that big of a deal. But when we go into game and we actually see what characters they are, this is a really big deal for specifically early and mid-game rosters. So we have Wampa, Hoda, Imperial Pro Droid, Rebel Officer Laragon, Darth Malak, and General Skywalker are now purchasable through another means. And at the glimpse of an eye, this is like, okay, cool. I can get them with GET1 and I can get them with NK2 now. Really not that big of a deal. I guess I'll get them a little bit faster. Wrong. Once again, this video today is brought to you guys by a spreadsheet. If we look at just how bad the GET1 rates were for specifically the 4 characters that we have on our screen in front of us and compare them to how quickly we get them now, this is one of the best accelerations that CG has ever done for the game. Typically, once a marquee character has been in the game after about 12 months, they will say, all right, you're going to get double the amount of shards when you farm them. This typically doesn't ever happen with legendaries for a myriad of reasons. However, it's now happening with not only some of the best legendaries, but some of the best requirements for galactic legends. So I kind of have everything sorted out here, and just to explain, these are our 4 characters: Hoda, Wampa, Gas Malak. Gas Malak do have the same numbers as well as Hoda and Wampa do. And I've done the math here. If you were maxing GOTB, which is pretty reasonable, well, that's not reasonable at all actually, but it's reasonable to assume you're doing GOTB and this is the max that you can get one from that event. If that's what you're getting every single month, and nobody's really getting that, to be honest, like nobody was getting the complete max, but there it is. Even if you're getting that, it was going to take you 6 grueling months to farm Hoda, 6 months to farm Wampa, 4 months to farm Gas, or I guess 5 months really to farm Gas, and 5 months to farm Malak, for pretty much a total combined of 2 years or just short of it. But yeah, nobody's hitting the max score, by the way, at CG Scribble Fleet deployment. But anyways, so that's the way that it was before. You're looking at about 2 years to get all those characters up. Now, with MK2, assuming you aren't using it for anything else, which was the same assumption for GET1, if you're hitting like the 3rd prize box, we can look at that in a minute, you are now going to be getting these characters, if you're spending the currency exclusively on them, in 1.7 months, 1.7 months, 1.3, and 1.3. This is 6 months. You can get Gas, Malak, Wampa, Hoda, at least their GET1 portion of their shards, entirely in 6 months' time, which, if you want to do the math, 6 months divided by 24, this just cut their acceleration to 1/4, assuming you're not going and taking your GET1 and also buying it from this source over here. If you're wondering kind of how we got these numbers, we just multiplied 1 shard price by 330 for Hoda and Wampa, and then for Gas and Malak, it was significantly less because their events give them more. I think my numbers are slightly off here, but either way, these were both taken from the same area, and you can see this distinction is pretty big. So you might be thinking, okay, cool, I can get those characters faster. That really doesn't matter to me. I had a lot of things to farm anyways. And this really does overall change the landscape of what we're going to be doing in game, because when we look at all these characters, especially Hoda and Wampa have been such a hot topic when it comes to roster building. For those who have been following my channel for a while now, over the last 2 or 3 months, we've been going through and kind of categorizing what characters you need to have geared up in what order for each galactic legend. And one of the biggest points of contention is for Jabba and Jedi Master Luke. You have to have Jedi Knight Luke for both of them, and to be able to get Jedi Knight Luke, you have to have Hoda and Wampa. And as we saw from the spreadsheet earlier, this is not like something you can do on a whim. This takes very focused farming for over a year to even be able to have one of the requirements for these two Galactic Legends, making things really kind of frustrating depending on what your goals are and what your guild's trying to do or what you're after. Gas and Malik are also just amazing characters, that kind of goes without saying. And Gas even runs into a very similar problem as Hoda and Wampa, because he's actually a requirement for Lord Vader. So I'm not shocked. Maybe I should be, because this is long overdue. Like I said, Malik's event came out over 4 years ago now, and he's been stuck over on the GET1 node for the longest time at, again, like not a good rate. Like, we're talking months and months and months to be able to lock him, assuming you're getting the max GET1 that you can from GOTB. I guess it'd be more if you're doing Hoth TB, but I think most people aren't even ever getting max Hoth TB. They're immediately just jumping to Geo as soon as they can. And I guess it's worth mentioning that you can also get their shards from the weekly shipments. This isn't a huge deal to me, just because that's really, really expensive, and that's not super free to play friendly, whereas the MK2, that's pretty accessible to be able to get to it. Like I was saying, if we look at the Crate Dragon Raid, you don't need to be getting like all the way up like those huge scores of 130 million or 265 million. If you go to the guild rewards, the number that we're using, where MK2 maxes out at, it's this third one at 25 million. So if everyone in your guild, on average, is getting a score of 500,000, which is essentially one relic squad, you now get to have these characters 4 times faster. So I guess there may be a little bit of wiggle room there of, like, you know, you don't really need to have Jabba to get a score of 500,000. Like, bounty hunters can do that, Maul can do that. So I guess it depends on kind of what you're farming, or maybe it depends on what your guild is already doing for you in that regard to how close you can get. But either way, this is just a huge stinking plus that we can get there. And one of the other things I didn't mention, I guess there's probably a decent amount of MK2 as well as in the other raids. I don't really know for sure. I have not really tried them, and I guess they're considered legacy raids now. I guess we could check that at one point. So overall, really thankful to see the change. Finally, CG was kind of getting on a catch-up mechanic, accelerating those older characters that are very important for endgame stuff, and also just, again, they're great in general. I want to see more. I want to see ships accelerated. I know that's a lot to ask, but this honestly kind of at some point seemed a lot to ask too. So props to you, CG. Everyone, go enjoy and get that Jabba. Until next time, stay awesome.